To say this model has been a long time coming would be an understatement. It feels like years ago that we first saw a prototype version of this casting, but we finally saw a production-ready version debut in April of 2024, but not one most collectors would ever be able to get their hands on. In a decision that would outrage many collectors, myself included, BBR decided to release their long-awaited first Ferrari casting in the famous Rosso Corsa Resale Red as a limited production Chinese exclusive. We've come to expect frustrating availability gimmicks like that from Mattel, but the ability to just buy whatever models you want at retail price without having to play the scarcity game is a big part of what drew a lot of collectors away from Hot Wheels and towards brands like Mini GT and BBR. To see BBR resort to limited availability with unquestionably their most desirable release of one of their most anticipated castings was very disappointing, and this casting has never quite managed to escape the shadow of that decision. At the time of writing, the Rosso Corsa 296 GTB is selling for about $80 to $100. Luckily, BBR had an ace up their sleeve with the very similar, though still slightly less desirable, Rosso Imola paint color. Unlike the debut version, this new red color is widely available at retail price, so was it worth the years-long wait? If you've seen my previous reviews of BBR castings, you'll know that BBR's packaging is my favorite in the premium diecast space. The box is heavy-duty and slides apart to reveal the plastic insert that holds the models securely inside. I much prefer this box design to the finicky flaps that are always difficult to pry out on Mini GT's boxes. As a loose collector and frequent photographer of my models, I love the premium unboxing experience that doesn't require me to unscrew the model from an acrylic base every time I want to use it in a picture or put it in a display. This design is definitely not for collectors who keep their models packaged, though. Once removed from its packaging, this model is as impressive as we've come to expect from BBR. The red paint is slightly darker than the famous Rosso Corsa, but the finish is faultless, with tons of metal flake and no orange peel to be found. The way this paint catches the light really does look expensive. My eye is immediately drawn to the back of the 296, where BBR's detailing prowess really shines. There's a lot going on here, from the fully detailed LED brake lights to the massive carbon fiber diffuser. A highlight for me is the silver exhaust detailing that protrudes nicely from the grille, and the proper chrome Ferrari badge above it is nice to see as well. As is the license plate, though I always prefer more realistic license plate designs to ones like this that just have the car's name. As subtle as the Ferrari spoiler looks from behind, it's much more pronounced from above. BBR has added black printed detailing to the vents on either side of the spoiler, and it does an impressively convincing job of making the spoiler look like it sticks out from the body, even though there's no actual air channel in this casting. Atop the spoiler is another chrome Ferrari badge, which feels much more premium than traditional printed badges. BBR seems to be pretty good at getting badges like this aligned properly, which can't be taken for granted at a $25 price point. The Ferrari shields on the fenders are also proper badges. Those shields are a roughly $1,500 option on the real car, by the way, though the Ferrari logos on the center caps of the wheels could definitely use some work. The side mirrors are metal, unlike the flexible plastic often used by Mini GT, and they have a two-tone finish that looks wonderfully realistic. I particularly like the way the light catches the crease that runs along the door and into the intake on the quarter panel, as it really shows off the depth of this Rosso Imola paint. The front-end design of this 296 GTB is relatively simple, but that's part of its beauty. Its clear headlight lenses and Ferrari badge on the bumper look great, but the black plastic piece used for the grille feels a little too flat. There's an impressive attention to detail throughout this model, but I want to highlight two small details that stood out to me. At the back of the splitter, there's a little piece of carbon fiber detailing to represent the way the splitter flares upward in front of the wheel. Then, on the wheels themselves, BBR has included a notch where the valve stem goes, something I can't remember ever seeing on a 1/64th model before. In typical BBR fashion, the 296's interior gets some printed detailing, which means you can see both the weave of the carbon fiber body panels and the exhaust components through the Ferrari's clear engine cover. The cabin gets a similar treatment, with a Ferrari badge on the steering wheel, silver detailing on the center console, and red piping on the dashboard. There's even a tiny 296 GTB badge on the passenger side of the dashboard. It's clear that BBR knew this was going to be a special model, and the final product really shines. I truly wish the company would backtrack on some of their recent exclusivity decisions, because I think it does a fair amount of reputational harm and makes it harder to appreciate these models for the works of art that they are. Now that we finally have a reasonably priced and widely available version of this casting, I think it's worth adding one to your collection. As long as you can get over the car's frustrating history, anyway. Thanks for watching, and as always, if you prefer your diecast content in written form, check out my blog at diecastleno.com.